With the salty wench before this is over. Good plan. Good plan.
Would have a word with the salty
Ah, hello.
wench when this is over.
So what I'm seeing is you kill the tentacles. You kill this one. Why do I get the feeling though that it'll just summon more tentacles? Hey, move, attack. Yeah, you can punch it. You're not immune to being hit prone? Really? Itamark. Headbutt. Headbutt a Kraken. Got stunned. Itamark. Head over here. And now, headbutt it again. Yep, it got proned. The Kraken is prone. This is not a phrase I thought would ever make any meaningful sense, but apparently it does. Can you pop over like here? Thank you. You. Stun it. You. Just punch it.
Tell me.
Really? Why can't you attack from... Okay. Kraken is dead. Need to recreate Evan's hammer, yep, and strike the crystal with the hammer. So fraggin' rude. Yes! Champion spoon. Okay, just to double check something. No, wait, it doesn't stack. That's the worst. No, I definitely have to rest before I can get that to be boosted. Well, fine then.
How may I help? That's...
Just like dead on.
Good.
I'm here.
Hey, nice. Now you gotta stun people with it. Alright, fine. 15% chance to stun as well as prone. Not bad.
I'm here.
Okay. Everyone's up.
Tell me.
Right, I guess there's, yeah, only a narrow path. Alrighty. Sagani, seriously, just get with the program. So, let's save. Hard save before we do this, just in case there's something tricky here, but I don't think so. Hit the crystal, save the world. Something along those lines. Seems reasonable.
Lead the way.
Okay, game. You're not meant to freeze when I do that. Or crash. An enormous crystal juts from the wall like a spearhead protruding from a wound. An army of reflection stares back at you from the crystal's perfect facets. It echoes the sound of your footsteps in soft ringing hums. Someone will have to take Abaddon's hammer and strike the crystal, and Andra warned that whoever does so will be buried along this place with the eyeless. Step back and consider this further. Okay, so nope, that's it. Me.
You have led us bravely. It has been an honor to follow your lead.
Live. Masuk will sing your name alongside Persok's.
A great act of freedom. Your body will suffer for it, but your soul will flourish. Always, I will remember your example. Your chances aren't favorable, but at least you've learned to embrace the test. I told you I'd be good for you, Watcher.
You're a brave soul. Wish I'd met you sooner.
You take the diving helmet and tuck it away, just in case. You heft the hammer and swing it at the crystal. A perfect, clear tone rings through the air and resonates through your teeth. Seconds later, ripples shiver through the water. Something big is coming. Give the others a final nod. The rest of the party scrambles out of the flooded cavern and flees through the tunnels. You continue hammering at the crystal, each strike magnifying the last. The echoes build into physical tremors. Meanwhile, a heavier rhythm pulses through the cave. Dozens of them. Footsteps. Other creatures round the corner, only to see a line of... the others round a corner, only to see a line of eyeless advancing. The creatures stagger to the ribbon of the hammer's thuds below. Yet they crane their necks towards the party, ratcheting back their piston arms. Cast Repulsing Seal. Durance. As a glowing seal blooms from the ground, the first two eyeless step back onto it and fall backward, taking most of the others with them. Dodge past the eyeless. The party sprints past the distracted monsters. Fortunately, the creatures are too focused on the hammering to give chase. They continue toward the cavern. You maintain a steady tempo in the crystal. The eyeless gather in the cavern where they batter the walls in time with the hammer's rhythmic blows. The ground shakes. Falling rocks and shattering crystals splash to the ground. The party flees through dark, rumbling corridors. More eyeless shamble along, but they're too entranced by the swelling cadence to take more than an idle swipe at the party. The tunnel narrows, light filters through ahead. The exit must be around the next bend. But it's clogged with rubble. Meanwhile, the ground drops several feet at once. The tunnel begins rolling on its axis. The sound of rushing water echoes from the cavern. Lever the rubble with the pry bar. There must be a weak spot, but it'll take a practice eye to find it. Who will clear the way? It's a good question. Let's go with Maneha? She wedges it, can't find a leverage point. Sagani? No. Aloth? No. Okay, this has really sucked out the, sucked things out. Dig through the rubble with bare hands then. Everyone does it. A roar of shattering rock rises from the depths, and the moon drops several more feet. A few minutes of furious work finally clears the passage, but Durance is wounded and exhausted from the exertion. He takes ragged pain breaths and cradles one arm stiffly. The moon shatters again. The party escapes onto the ice, just as another thunderous crash sounds from below. Eyeless continue pouring into the cavern from every visible tunnel and crevice. Your ears ring at the ever-growing cacophony of smashing rock and shattering crystal. Meanwhile, the water level is rising. A skull-splitting crack rends the air, and the surge of water knocks you from your feet. The entire cavern rotates, plunging you into a freezing soup of jagged metal, torn flesh, and stone. The others dash across the lake. The ice squeals and crackles, rocking dangerously underfoot. The sinking moon groans. Long fishes race across the ice. Callous Freezing Rake. We use Callous Freezing Rake to hold the ice together. Aloth knows that. A spectral hand sweeps the ice in front of Aloth. The ice sheets knit back together, holding just long enough for a safe crossing. At last, everyone reaches the safety of the shore. In the middle of the lake, only the tip of the moon is still visible above the ice. The survivors watch in silence as it sinks into the depth. You trudge through the rubble at the lake bottom. The water is freezing, the air in the diving helmet is acrid, and the sound of your own breathing roars in your ears. Still, it's better than drowning. You navigate out of the settling rubble and see the ghostly light of the surface above. At last you reach the shadows. You punch through a thin crust of ice and crawl ashore, trembling but alive. Good thing we killed the Kraken. Because, I mean, otherwise, that could have gotten pretty bad for us. You stand at the edge of the lake. The bobbing of the ice and the rippling of the water's surface slows until you're looking at a moment frozen in time. When the world begins moving once more, it moves in reverse. The surface of the water churns and roils as if it's about to spew something up, and it does. The fragment of Ioni Bratha rises unbroken. Ice reforms around the surface of the lake, spreading in long freezing fingers. Eyeless file out of it, and they wind around the moon in an ever-widening spiral. They stop as the head of the line reaches you. They speak in a single voice that resonates with a grinding metal and hissing steam.
We shatter and sink, discarded like worn tools. Why have you consigned us to oblivion?
Wow, are you serious? You would have destroyed Cadenua, Durgan's battery, and more. Their protest is as sharp as squealing metal.
Blasphemy! These are jewels of civilization. They are sacred. We would sooner sacrifice our own bodies than dislodge a single stone from such a place. Why do you torment us with baseless accusations?
Andra changed you from a preserver to a destroyer. The eyeless are still, but you hear their gears whir as their collective spirit ponders this.
Then we were betrayed.
Yes, you were transformed against your will.
And we were made to betray something we cherish.
You feel their bitter agony like a hammer strike. The legacy of the young Withens, you mean?
The bedrock of civilization.
Suddenly they attack the ice beneath them, slicing and shattering it with mighty swings from their iron arms, and where the ice breaks, ancient towers rise, blotting out blue sky and white peaks. Andra wanted Engwithin civilization forgotten.
Better for her tides to ebb and her seas to dry up than to cover a single stone the Engwithins laid.
The ice shakes with the fury of the eyeless.
Each culture builds on the bones of the last. Yet many only look up at where they would go, never down at the foundations that bear them. Like a mason who builds a listing tower.
The remaining ice sheet cracks and groans.
What peril do they inflict on their progeny? And what dishonor on their forebears?
You hear the strain of crumbling stone in the voice of the eyeless. The betrayal of memory upsets you greatly.
It's accepting a gift only to spit in the face of the giver. Every advance in the crafts and institutions of Kith was forged by skill and sacrifice.
You feel these words, in the anger behind them, in your bones.
People cut off from their history will wither, and they deserve no less.
Then what do you suggest?
To pull the blinders from the eyes of gods and Kith. That is why we must return to ourselves and restore Abidan.
What do you mean about returning to yourself?
When Ioni Bratha fell, Abidan lost much. His will to preserve, the memory of how and why he died. But he built us with fragments of his own soul. In returning, we can restore what was taken from him.
This is an interesting problem. Perhaps Abaddon was meant to forget his past? Some knowledge is too dangerous for this world. You speak as if history were a guide, yet it doesn't always provide a good example.
Then do not look to it for one. History is not a moral force, but a set of facts. These facts show Kith where they have come from, and how to move forward.
The Pogrunen were obsessed with the past? No. Let's go with the Dirwardens and Glenfathans. Have fought 2 wars over their history, and still have not moved forward.
But the memory of those wars has likely saved them from another now, when it would shatter a Barondir would.
Perhaps you're right.
One cannot cast history aside simply because it's unpleasant.
The stalwart and the iron flail remained at odds even in the face of a bigger threat, all because of their history.
The problem is not that they remember too much of their history, but rather too little.
The ice underfoot suddenly becomes clear. Between your boots you see an ocean separating Adir and the Eastern Reach.
Serans and Dirwoodens alike began as pioneers from Adir. They all came seeking opportunity.
Boats as small as ants crawl across a glassy blue.
Were they to look farther back, They would see their common origins and desires.
That will not change that they want different things now. A shared history will never trump present circumstances. I'm going to go with very well. I do kind of agree. But I also agree with this.
One cannot cast history aside simply because it's unpleasant.
Okay.
And their brethren have built a culture that stretches across Aeora. All because they recognize the importance of their shared legacy.
Before you killed them, they nearly destroyed themselves arguing over the meaning of that legacy.
It drove them to create marvels. Could it have torn them apart with equal force?
You feel the eyeless wrestling with this question, shifting and struggling under its weight.
Maybe so. But we would not cast history as
I've said my
we have
piece.
listened.
Very well, return to yourself and become the god of preservation once more.
We shall see this world and its people restored.
A great wind shoves at your back and your ears pop and you feel a moment as if the sky is being sucked from... The air is being sucked from the sky. Suddenly it ends and you're standing in the snow looking over Kayron's scar.
The eyeless disappeared beneath the lake, their bond to Andra finally severed. With this threat ended, hope returned to the White March. Hunters returned to the wildernesses, and travelers to the roads. Tales of the Watcher's bravery replaced stories of monsters in the woods. The villagers of Stalwart busied their hands with work and their tongues with song, eager to seize on the promise of peace.
Excellent. And Abaddon's hammer is fully upgraded. Echo of the Maker. Okay, so frightens vessels. Okay, despite being topped by a mere fragment of Abaddon's original hammer, this weapon, now sized for Kitans, is still an instrument of awesome destructive force. The faces of the Great Hammer's head still bear the tool marks of their creator. Not even the fires of the White Forge could erase Abaddon's work. And there we go, that's basically the expansion complete.
Lead the way.
There's a little bit to do, which is we'll pop in, we need to do a bounty, and we need to pop back to Stalwart Village. So we're going to go do the bounty. Searing Falls is actually all the way back here. We got a bounty for something in Deerwood, which I found kind of surprising. So we're going to go do that quickly. But first, I'm going to check on a cat.
Too long has it been since we made camp.
Yep, I had a cat waiting to be let inside. Very patiently. Okay, so... we have Magran's followers here to fight. Oh, actually, before we do that, we're gonna check what all of these notifications are. Hireling Payday, Slave of Buggers Off, Lavender and Myers there. That'll be finished in 2 days. So we're going to stop off at Cadnoa. Admittedly, this is another 2 loading screens, but at least I can rest. I can get the Might resting bonus, so I can boost my character and get the upgrade I'm looking for. On Steadfast, because resting bonuses stack. A supplicant. Okay. Fine, we'll deal with you. Why? Why is this generating that noise? Whatever. Not worth worrying about. Okay. Deal with the supplicant. Rest. Rack off. Okay. There's our supplicant. Literally just named supplicant. Okay. State of the keep. Well, let's see. Just take us there. Send escort. Send grieving mother. Sorted. Rest. We need might. So, training grounds. Yeah. Now that I know stacks. Oh, nice. So all I need now is before I rest in an inn or multiple times, I need to go and fight a man. Several mans. I need to kill people with a particular sword that may grant a +10 bonus. Or use an ability of mine that gives me a boost to stats.
I'm here.
Or wait, one of your things. Minor avatar is for the priest. Crowns of Faithful. Do you have anything here? Magron. No. So we don't have something that will boost. Oh wait, Champion Spoon. Easy. I just cast Champion Spoon. Don't need to wait for someone. I just got to get into a scrap. So, to finish the last stuff in Stalwart, I need to go and do a bounty in Searing Fall. And then I can dump Zahwa and maybe pick up a deer or Palagina as my tanks. I could already have dumped Zahwa. The problem I have with Zahwa is just that I don't like having characters that need to take wounds to do things. And otherwise he can stun 2 people in an encounter. Nice. So, he's happy with us. His regards and his gratitude. I'm gonna guess that they're here. Hey there, buddy. Okay, Durance. I want you to do something for me. Champion's Boon. Cast it on me. There we go. That gives me might. Yep, the might I need. And Aloth. Pop over here. Give him a good old freezing. I said... What part of give him a good old freezing did you not understand, mate? Maybe we pop back here.
That's not very helpful.
And do this. You knock this jerk over. That is not an ideal thing to have happen. Also don't like this being blinded thing.
Just say the word.
That's not very helpful.
Hidemark died again.
Let's do that.
Why are you not doing anything? Attack the jerk. Not that hard. Thank you.
You're mine!
Endurance, mate. Can you do a bit of that? And how about you blind these two? Just everyone kill him, really? Crunch!
Lead the way.
Don't know how we collect the head when he just got gibbed. Yes, there we go, steadfast. It's a single-edged backsword with a recurved guard and a wire-wrapped handle. Though not especially fancy, the crafter's skill is readily apparent to any who hold the weapon in their hands. The only son of an indentured servant, Adiric Kendamar was one of countless Red Karens who joined the ranks of Waidwin's army upon the outbreak of Saints' War. Despite his youth and inexperience, Adiric acquitted himself well in the fighting and was soon popular amongst his fellow soldiers for his good sense, his passion, and his loyalty. Determined to honor Waidwen, he proved himself a disciplined and driven soldier. After a spate of hard-won victories, the destruction of Waidwen heralded the immediate retreat of the Red Karen forces back across the border. Situated far from the vanguard, Adiric's company found itself embroiled in the brutal fighting as triumphant Deerwood forces set upon their disheartened foe. His commander slain, Adiric had his first taste of command in the chaos. Adiric and his fellows held off the enemy long enough for their company to rejoin the main body of the retreating army, but at the cost of many lives. It had been nearly a year before he was able to revisit the battlefield, but he returned to Redcaris with the broken blades of several of his fallen brothers in arms. It was from these shattered remnants that Adiric's sword was forged. He maintained contact with the surviving members of his unit after the war. Although he had struggled with bouts of melancholy since childhood, he was well regarded as a capable and charismatic leader devoted to his comrades. It was soon proposed that he should lead the others in forming a tight-knit collective of fighting men, united not by a desire for coin, but by their duty to their fallen comrades and their countrymen. Many of the Iron Flail's early engagements would be among less discerning mercenary companies, which Adiric condemned as particular danger to settlements along the Red Karen border. In time, the Iron Flail's many victories and Adiric's seemingly dauntless will would draw many more recruits back into the fold. The Iron Flail soon had the backing of several prominent families and was even rumoured to have the blessing of Redcaris' ruling power. Nice. It's a pretty cool thing. And we will take their stuff.
I'm here.
And now we can head back
You
to
must gather
Starwood.
your party before venturing forth.
And that will be the last of the Starwood-based expansion content. There is more, because Craigholt, which we have dealt with repeatedly, is kind of the last bit of expansion stuff, and it's like the highest level content in the game, and it's really badly signposted, in my opinion, anyway, and it's caused me much grief, but we broke in, so the next step is to actually, like, do that dungeon, and then do wherever that leads us. Okay, so, got two things to do. One, pop over here. Hand in a bounty. Please do not give us more bounties. Looking for work? Here you go. Here's a reward. New reports. Fine. Lagerfeth in the Hollow. And the Pirate Brynlod from the Deadfire Archipelago. Okay, he's come inland. Difford Crossing.
Lead the
Okay.
way.
So I can do those some other time. They are not important. Lavender and Lye on a remote island. The famed Pucker 3, and yeah, I just don't care now. We got a Lavender Wreath, which gives you an immunity to sickened and irritating. Okay, don't really care. Sorry.